grab some coffee.
Dave's not in there.
Yeah, he's in there.
Right. Hey, Dave, I'm going to send you an Anthony Davis, kind of like a media meetup, like probably like 3.5 minutes. We'll just play it. We'll play it at some point in an hour or two. We'll just play the whole thing. I don't know. I don't really know what the hell's on it, but we need to have some sort of like, yeah. All right, cool. Yep. All right. I was about to say, yeah.
Gary Fisher? Oh, yeah.
Dunc and Holder on a Tuesday, May 1st. Larry Holder, Clyde Verdun, Dave DeCorbier here at iHeartRadio Central here in the CBD, Warehouse District in New Orleans. I left somebody's name off the list. And Clyde is sitting in someone's chair who's usually here.
I am.
It's one Jeffrey Duncan. He has flown the coop. I have no earthly idea when he's coming back.
From the coop to the barn.
He's definitely in the barn right now. He is at Churchill Downs as we speak. He will be covering the Kentucky Derby and, of course, local ties up there. Lone Sailor, owned by the Benson Group, GMB Racing, Tom Amos, the trainer. So all kinds of local ties. He will possibly be joining us. They're announcing the draw today. I jokingly tell him, "Oh, it's the pole position." I'm like, "It's NASCAR," but no, it's the draw.
It's the draw.
Exactly. But that's when you get the nitty gritty of when the odds come out, and because of course I'm going to keep joking, pole positioning, where you line up typically in my novice take on horse racing, where you line up definitely hinders your odds of winning the race. So if
Just
we
like
catch
it is
up,
in track.
yeah. So if we catch up with Jeff, we if he's not too busy chasing around Gail Benson or GMB Racing
or having or having too many mint juleps.
That's too early in the week for that. It's only
I don't think
Tuesday.
It's ever too early to have a mint julep if you're in Louisville,
Kentucky. You could get sick
Kentucky.
of mint juleps.
That's fair.
You could get sick of
Just
them.
like you can get sick of really terrible hats that people are going to wear on Saturday.
I can't get sick of that. I love terrible hats.
Oh, it's the worst.
I love the terrible hat game.
For 2 minutes. Well, not necessarily 2 minutes. For the main, I mean, obviously the moniker for the Kentucky Derby is the most exciting 2 minutes in sports. But
It's
literally,
exciting.
It's exciting for 2 minutes, but I mean, no one cares about the 17 races that go on early in the day.
The people there who are throwing down money,
yeah,
the hardcore bettors.
Yeah, the degenerate gamblers.
The hardcore bettors definitely.
Shout out to you.
Well, I'm sure throughout the week we're going to be talking with Jeff. We can't get him today. We're certainly going to get him throughout the week because he will bring some expertise on the Kentucky Derby. And that's something that people, novice sports fan, Joe sports fan, they sit and watch. There are a few events, I would say, in the sports atmosphere of the United States where just people who don't follow it on a daily-to-day
Right.
basis actually will go to parties, go to bars, go to the OTBs. If you never go betting on horses and you actually go just for this because you want to get involved in the excitement. And this is one of, I would say, just a handful of events in American sports where you could just get anyone and they'll sit down and watch it.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, you're talking about the start of the Triple Crown, and obviously, if you get a horse that wins the Derby, then goes on to win the Preakness, and you've got 2 legs of the Triple Crown, people are going to naturally be interested in the Belmont Stakes, which is the last one. So, it's going to be an interesting event. Although I'm not going to lie to you, the most exciting part of it is there's a website that I read that. Doesn't cover any lick of the actual Kentucky Derby.
I'm afraid to
it only covers all the debauchery that goes on in the infield because it's like
so
you've
the
got
partying and the fashion.
Yeah, and the
that's part of the event.
porta potty racing on top. Oh yeah, that's a thing too. If you didn't know that, yeah, people run on top of porta potties until they fall because
I've
they're so
seen
wasted.
that.
Yes.
Is this website called Deadspin?
No, but I do read Deadspin, but yeah, it's
Yes.
because Deadspin's gonna do something. There's a couple other websites that do it too, so it's always fun because it's always fun to see because you have all these people, all these very rich athletes.
The rich folks don't jump on top of porta potties and run around.
I know.
Come on.
I'm saying you have the rich people in the
That's
stands.
like Joe Dirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Who gets in and pays what? I don't know how much a ticket is to get in, but yeah, they're not the ones with owning the horses or the high rollers.
But it's literally having the two sides of the coin. You have all the highfalutin folks in the stands with their hats and their mint juleps and their cucumber sandwiches, whatever they eat in those press boxes, and then you have the absolute nut jobs in the infield being drunk, crazy people, and it's like, all right, well, I guess this is how Americana works.
Well,
this is America's rich pageant.
Well, yes, exactly. Nothing wrong with that. But look, it's part of, and of course, local interest here. The way that GMB Racing has really got this thing going in such a short period of time. So yeah, if we catch up with Jeff today, we'll do our best, but once the field is announced, the positioning, we will certainly bring that to you here on the show. But in more immediate news, Pelicans Warriors tonight. Of course, Game 1 did not go the Pelicans' way. Around 11:30, we will have our good buddy Will Guillory, NOLA.com, and the Times-Picayune. He will join us to break down what to expect tonight from Game 2. Of course, that's a 9:30 tip, and you can listen to that game on our sister station, 99.5 FM WRNO. Will Guillory, of course, will be chronicling all of the action on NOLA.com. Pre-game, in-game, post-game, he'll have it all as the Pelicans look to go and steal a game after basically having the second quarter ripped out from under them in Game 1, and that's something that they cannot afford to happen in any quarter, really the rest of the series. That is something that they need to get their act together. And it's hard to do, though, when you're playing a team like the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, that's going to be even harder to do with all reports basically linking to the fact that Steph Curry will play tonight. He will not be on a minutes restriction. So it looks like he is going to go full speed ahead. Steve Kerr is going to let him go full speed ahead. So you can pretty much reinsert him into the starting lineup for Nick Young. And the Warriors will be back at full capacity. And that's got to be the concern. That's something that we'll get into over the course of the hour. But the biggest thing is that when you have a team that's as dangerous and explosive as the Warriors are, you cannot give them opportunities to go on the type of runs that they had this in Game 1 and Game 2. Specifically, your defense. And, we talked about this a lot in the first series. Playoff defense is a lot different than regular season defense. This is not the same type of just okay. If we just play our lanes and we just play our matchups, we're going to be fine. It's not even close. You're talking about how you have to have more stops in more key situations and for longer stretches than you did during the regular season. That's going to be a tough task tonight, especially with Steph Curry being back.
And it's an unfortunate circumstance for the Pelicans where game one, okay, you have one avenue where you think you need to go as far as defending, and they torch you. Now, game two, you throw in only one of the best players to walk planet Earth, returns to the lineup to an already excellent team, and now you're just thinking, what are we going to do now? So I'm curious to see what some of the chess pieces, how they move, and who's going to defend who, and it's going to be a challenge. Look, you throw in the new element as far as this series, and even the last time they played them in the regular season when the Pelicans won, and they're going to have their hands full. I'm curious to see if the Pelicans can kind of keep their composure in that first barrage, the first quarter, kind of like they did in game one, and then we know the Warriors can go essentially 10 deep. The Pelicans, they're still the same team. They can go about 7 or 8 deep, and their 7 and 8 are nowhere near the Warriors' 7 and 8.
No, and that was part of my frustration with hearing people talk about, your quote unquote playoff lineup, your playoff roster, and the guys that you plan on using for just your stretch run in the playoffs. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be able to count on like your 7-8 guys to be able to come in and give you quality minutes. I don't think you can do that against the Warriors. I think against the Warriors you have to throw out whatever your preconceived notions are about using a Crawford, about using a Czech Diallo, about using guys that you were able to use in the Portland series. Now, granted, these are two completely different teams, but just like you might not have a matchup for them, they might have a matchup for a guy like Czech Diallo. Maybe Emeka Okafor comes back in and gets like maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes that just allows someone to get a breather real quick and throw a different look at them. Because just like we talked about how the Pelicans have tried to be this team that wants to create matchup nightmares, they're going up against a team that started the whole matchup nightmare problem with the guys that they have in Draymond Green getting triple doubles, Kevin Durant. Now with Steph Curry coming back and Klay Thompson, you know what they're going to want to do. So at this point, I think getting other guys run. I mean, let's not let's not sniff at it. Crawford came in and got 13 points in like 10 minutes. Now, granted, it was against Golden State's basically JV team, but that's still something, and he can still get you points. If you want to let Instant Grits cook, let him cook against some of these secondary guys, and I think that may give you at least a little bit of an edge and keep you closer in, as opposed to just saying, well, if we just run out the same starting five and then Ian Clark and Solo Hill and Darius Miller, I don't think that is going to leave you in a position to be able to run with this Warriors team. I think you need to throw some different bodies at them.
The problem is you could throw different bodies out if they're not up for the task, and you can say Jordan Crawford and you can say Sheikh Diallo and put them out there, and they're okay when you play them against the Grizzlies. Are they okay in an actual competitive environment outside of picking up garbage time against the Warriors?
They're professionals, right? I mean, they're in the NBA.
Yes. Oh, we could. Let's see.
Who are you going to bring up?
I was about to say, I could bring up anyone in, like, professional. Let's see. I'm
interested to see where you're going to go with this.
Let's see. Taysom Hill is a professional. So is Tom Brady. I mean, come on.
Well, at the same time, though, you bring up Taysom Hill.
They both
Tom
have
Brady,
professional contracts.
Yeah, but Tom Brady isn't going out on defense and running out as a split end, man. He's not doing that. He's not on special teams. So don't give me any of that, bro.
Yeah, he's not on special teams because he's slightly more valuable as a professional as Taysom Hill is as a professional.
Fair enough. Well, that's until Danny Edley clearly takes a spot. Clearly,
exactly.
That's what we're waiting for.
Exactly. That's where you're going. Exactly. We're just waiting for the Danny Etling era. Honestly, I'm waiting to see all these 2019 and 2020 mock drafts to get on here and have Miles Brennan be the Saints quarterback in the first round. That's coming next.
That is not coming
That
next.
is coming.
That's not coming next.
All right, let's take a break right here on the show, and when we get back, we will make the big announcement of who we drafted.
Yes.
Our Sports 1280 lunch draft. We've made our draft pick. We did not give him a big, easy football hat. Dave was basically our general manager delivering the phone call and didn't actually speak.
Could have been his worst what they had to draft, man.
Of course. Well, Dave was our general manager making the call, and we will deliver our winner. We're going to have lunch next week at Deanie's in Bucktown.
Right by the house.
Exact. Well, by your house, not
nowhere mine. Yes.
Nowhere near my Algiers house. But look, we're going to be talking some more NFL draft recap. I want to take a look at the rest of the NFC South. We haven't done that. Where have they improved? Also, we're going to take a look at college baseball. We're in May. It's nitty-gritty time for all teams local, especially LSU. Also, the NFL annual top 100s come out. 2 Saints players are within the top 90, and no one's happy about it.
Of course not.
Of course not.
Just like I'm not happy with the latest episode of Sun Charm New Orleans, which I will make a very quick, easy to today.
45 seconds.
Hey, man, trust me, I'll be able to do that 45 seconds.
You get 45 seconds.
And I'll be able to breathe during a segment.
All right. 504-260-1280 is also the number to get involved here. Sports 1280, NOLA.com, the iHeartRadio app. Dunc and Holder. Listener bingo board should include suspension.
Yeah, suspension.
Ripping coworkers.
Huh. Yes, yes. Having a massive ego that he shouldn't have.
What's wrong with that? Right, and Gordy bust his ass. Right.
Holler.
And poor Amos, he's hosting for him again? Oh, no. That's, uh-oh.
Huh.
Yeah. I just remember with like 3 minutes left in the show, he like ran out of gas and was just he was limping to the finish line. I was like, oh no, Amos, no. I was like, just someone play music. Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. Yes, not everyone's listening for all 4 hours. Yeah. Right. Lone Sailor draws the... Oh well. Sorry, Garland. Jeff gets tweeted. Lone Sailor gets post 8. That's a good spot, according to...
According to degenerates.
Catherine and Jeff and Garland. I guess. Jeez, and the Falcons signed 27 undrafted free agents.
Good Lord. Hey Dave, just a heads up in here. I'm not sure what's going on, but apparently there's something up with the feed that we have plugged into the phone for the Mevo. Instead of them hearing the brakes and everything in the clear sound, apparently I guess they can hear us during the brakes. And he says Larry sounds a little echoey. I'm not sure if there's like a switch or something that happened. Yeah, next break. That's fine.
The official draw is out for the Kentucky Derby. Jeff Duncan has tweeted out a gigantic picture of it. If you go follow him on Twitter at JeffDuncan_. Lone Sailor drawing the 8th post position. The favorite, Justify, is right next door at number 7. So hopefully we'll be able to catch up with Jeff throughout the show at some point if we can. That's great today. If not, we'll certainly catch up with him tomorrow. Lone Sailor at the Kentucky Derby. Of course, that's part of GMB Racing, the Benson Racing Group. The 8th post spot, Justify, at 7. And the 20-horse field, like I said, if you want to go check out Jeff's Twitter feed, I'm not going to rattle off all these horses because some of them I don't know how to pronounce their name, and I don't want to look like a total idiot today. At least not yet. Not yet. Oh, cool.
Seriously?
This is from Lone Sailor, fired up. Actually, that's breaking. Lone Sailor saying, hell yeah. I don't know, is that cursing? I'm not sure.
I don't think so, but I mean, I think I did get a hootat out of that. I heard a hootat out of that.
Exactly. No bleeping it, so yeah, definitely a hootat. I think you're right.
But look at some of these names. Magnum Moon, Vino Rosso, Noble Indy, Combatant, Free Drop Billy, Promises Fulfilled. Flame Away.
Where's Gronk's horse?
Gronk's
out.
Yeah, he's out because Gronk had some mishaps.
Gronk probably tried to ride the horse and probably broke the horse's back or something.
Nah, Gronk's horse just looked a little bit drunk and kind of ran into some things and hurt himself. So.
Maybe so. Well, yeah. All right. Well, that's okay.
Boom.
You could have horseplay. Oh gosh, I'm leaving. All right. Exactly. I literally just grabbed the Post-it note right now.
Clutched it.
The winner to our Sports 1280 lunch draft is Ed Biggs. And Dave, our general manager, he's our Kevin Costner of our draft day. Don't be Kevin Costner. Don't do it. And then take it all back and then some. Ooh, you shrew. And then make out with your coworker in the middle of the hallway at the end.
I'm sorry. Last time I checked, he drafted the Black Panther, so I think that's winning. So
Dave,
it doesn't matter, dude. He's a Black Panther now, man.
He molded into him
from the nation of Wakanda with the first overall pick of the NFL draft.
I was about to say, you and Dave should be fired up about that. But all right, Dave gave us an interview, exclusive interview with our winner, our number one draft pick, Ed Biggs. And look, I hope he's prepared for what he's going to get into next
it's going to be so bad.
All right, Dave, let's hear Ed's reaction. Oh, my gosh. Yep, you're Kevin Costner. You dropped the ball. Bo Callahan dropped the ball. Oh, boy. You just let me know when you're ready, Dave. You make the pick. All right, Dave's ready. Let's hear from our winner, Ed Biggs.
That's great. That's great to hear, man. That's fun.
You staged that. You staged that.
To record it? Yeah. Naturally. That's about you, because, I mean, you were excited. Obviously, Ed's excited. It's going to be a fun time at Dini's. Yeah, seriously. Clearly, we're doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely not. Oh, my gosh. Well, as this breaking news is coming across, whew, well, Lone Sailor's odds are out. Whew. According to Garland Gillen, of course, of WVUE TV, Fox 8 News, so Fox 8 Sports, of course, he's come on our show. Good buddy. Lone Sailor of GMB Racing with the morning line odds of 50 to 1 in the Kentucky Derby.
Those are good, right? Those are good odds, right?
If they win and I put like $5 on it, yeah, it's really good. But certainly not the favorite. You could PayPal it or
Venmo. You can Venmo it.
A pigeon.
Venmo. Unreal.
You could do that too.
You could do that too. I mean,
exactly.
If you have the money, got the cash, but
yes.
no, Venmo, you can easily do that.
All right, and again, once according to Garland Gillen, Justify is the morning line favorite in the Kentucky Derby at 3 to 1. Justify is at 7. Lone Sailor is at 8.
I think someone needs to have the. I think someone needs to justify or have the justification on why Justify is 3 to 1.
Oh my goodness!
I'm just saying.
You're just trying to do that just to put that in as many times as you can.
Well, I mean, I feel like there should be some justification there.
It's the best horse in the field.
But how do we know?
Because I don't know. Maybe Jeff will let us know. I
hope so, because I mean, I literally outside of having some friends who all absolutely wait for the Kentucky Derby, they watch TVG, the racing channel. I got nothing. But it's like me trying to tell them about the World Cup or Champions League or Europa League or Club World Cup, things like that.
I wouldn't know anything about that at all either.
So that's kind of like the reverse.
Well, that's like you or me telling you about who's like winning in the second round of the Munich tournament. In the ATP Tour.
Yeah, kind of. But I mean, if it's a bigger event, I at least
yes, they have
see
4
some
big
stuff.
events.
Yeah.
Right. Well, they have bigger tournaments.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, I'm not completely out of it.
Oh well, not totally, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, at least that's what I feel like I give to you in the show.
All right, let's take a break right here on the show, and like I said, if we'll catch up with Jeff, we'll do our best. If not, we will chat with him tomorrow. But yes, once again, Kentucky Derby, folks, with some local interest. Lone Sailor, 50 to 1. Morning line odds for the Kentucky Derby. The favorite is Justify, who is at the 7 post. Lone Sailor at the 8 post. Justify is at 3 to 1. So, all right, we will talk more about that later on in the show. Of course, we'll talk Pelicans, Warriors. Will Guillory top 11:30, not top of the 11 o'clock hour. You'll also hear from Anthony Davis, his reaction to Steph Curry coming back. We'll talk about Marshawn Lattimore and Michael Thomas apparently being disrespected, that they're in the top 82 players in the NFL. People are bent. No stunner there. Talk college baseball. We'll also look at the NFL's draft as far as with the NFC South. And your phone calls. 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved here. Sports 1280, NOLA.com, and the iHeartRadio app. Duncan Holder. Oh no, 11:30. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna play it till 11 o'clock hour. Yeah. Yeah. Since Jeff is out, we might throw some folks out of the bullpen in the radio booth with us. And tomorrow, of course, from 10 a.m. to noon here, Sports 1280 NOLA.com and the iHeartRadio app. One Todd Grappanini will join us, of course, the voice of the Tulane Green Wave. He will be fresh off tonight's game. Tulane heading up to Hattiesburg, a big game for Tulane, taking on Southern Miss, highly ranked Southern Miss.
A good Southern Miss team.
This could
going to be hosting a regional.
Yes, this could certainly help Tulane's argument as they're trying to fight to get above 500 and get some momentum heading into the month of May, heading into the American Conference Tournament later on this month. And I know that Todd is going to be fired up. I don't know what he's going to come in tomorrow. I'm not sure what he's going to be screaming about. It could be anything.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of hoping more or less that whatever he wants to come in screaming about, I'm going to get him off topic. My job
You're going to get him off topic.
Is to get him as off topic on whatever subjects we talk about, except for like the one that I plan on pulling for that day's recap. But yeah, the rest of the show, complete chaos.
So basically, you're going to say I'm going to have to be a traffic cop and try to direct.
Yeah, but I know how to. I know, but I mean, I also know how to, get around you two to continue whatever it is I was doing anyway. So
Dave's got the cutoff button. He could cut the mics off here, not when we're back at NOLA.com studios.
That's a good point.
He could cut the mics off here.
That's also true.
Instead of Dave coming on and playing the screaming cats, he could just cut your mic.
Yeah. Well, how about you also give me a chomp, Dave? Give me that.
No, don't do that. That's scary.
Oh, Dini's Seafood. We're gonna have it with Ed. Oh, I can't wait. Give me that chomper. No. Okay, I'll do it myself.
That's the power of Dave here. Exactly. So, but no,
yeah, it's gonna be great.
The Graf's coming in tomorrow, and he may come in another time as Jeff is going to be globe-trotting.
Of course.
He's going to be at the Kentucky Derby, and then he's taking some vacation. Starting at some point, actually next week, he'll be back in Europe again.
Yeah, going
this
to
guy
France.
lives in Europe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it because I mean, I do the same thing too. I mean, if you can do it, man, go to London, go to France,
If
go
you
to
can
Italy.
afford it,
You can afford it. That's true too.
Exactly.
Yeah, the only chair I haven't sat in so far is yours. I'm wondering like when that's gonna happen. Like
Never.
if I ever. Okay, well, I mean that's fair.
Never going to happen.
I'm just saying, man. I mean, you gotta take some vacation too. I'm gonna do it at some point, but
I'm the king of the castle.
You rise to the top.
Exactly. I take it to the top.
Mm.
Well, you know who's not at the top of the NFL's top 100 list, despite all of the screaming from fans? Every Saints player on the roster should be in the top 20. Every one of them. Well, at least Michael Thomas and Marshawn Lattimore, they made the list. Marshawn Lattimore, according to... And people say, who votes on these things? I can tell you for a fact, I did see at some point in the Saints locker room later in the season, I did see two ladies handing out ballots to players in the locker room to give votes in this poll.
Oh wow!
So it's the first time I've actually ever seen this happen because people just assume that no one knows who actually votes on this thing. So I had actually seen players write down things as far as voting. So, now who did they put? I don't know. But as of last night, NFL Network doing their top 100 players. They do it every year. Of course, it's just basically a cause for debate. Marshawn Lattimore makes his debut at number 82, and Michael Thomas is number 81. Marshawn Lattimore, of course, is taking exception to it. Michael Thomas, of course, is taking exception to it. Saints fans across the United States and the globe are taking exception to it. Now, look, other Saints players are going to be on this list.
Yeah.
How many? I don't know. I could guess Drew Brees. I can guess Cam Jordan. I'm going to guess Alvin Kamara. Maybe Mark Ingram. I would I would assume Mark Ingram, but maybe.
Oh.
Those would be the other 4 that could possibly make this list.
I mean, and we can probably blindfoldedly take the darts and throw them at the dartboard and kind of guess where they're going to end up. Drew Brees, which is also going to cause, like, let's just get out of the way now. Drew Brees is going to cause a riot because he's going to be probably what?
Top 20.
Top 20, maybe in the 15s.
Maybe. Yes.
But, like, really
top
he
20.
can get out. But top 20 for
20.
sure. I would say Alvin Kamara is probably going to be, if he's not in the 50s, just outside of the 50 mark, maybe like around 55, 60.
I'm afraid to forecast this stuff.
I know,
because
right?
People are going to be, no way,
But
he's
that's
number 2.
But that's the thing, clearly.
Because Alvin Kamara, I bet you go into, say, fantasy draft land that's going to happen in a couple of months. Well, I can tell you people in this city might take him number 1 overall.
I don't see why you wouldn't. I can understand it.
Now, I'm thinking in other markets you might take him at number 5, number 6, depending on your league. But no, people are going to hype him to no end. Now, here's the thing. If it's just player voting, or I don't know who voted, he might get a bigger bump and may be above, say, Mark Ingram. But, okay, think about last year. I think going into last year, this list, I think there were only 2 Saints players on the entire list.
Yes.
And it was Drew Brees and Cam Jordan.
Right.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Now, I had someone, it's funny, on Twitter when I tweeted it yesterday, or our colleague Josh Katzenstein tweeted it yesterday, and someone said, oh, it's got to be Ken Crawley and Ryan Ramczyk. In the top 100 of the NFL? Come on, man. Ken Crawley, he is a serviceable cornerback.
He's good. He's good.
He's going to fight for a starting job.
Fair.
Because you've got other pieces in there. And Ryan Ramczyk had a very good first year.
He did.
But they're not getting in the top 100. Come on, people.
Hey, man, you got to leave people to dream, man. Leave people to have their dreams. But seriously, I mean, look,
Larry Warford's not going to make the top 100, and he made the Pro Bowl.
Made the Pro Bowl. Yeah. How many of these guys are Pro Bowlers? Like, clearly that, like, how many Saints were Pro Bowlers last year? Neither, almost half the team. And they won't make this top 100. It's fine. I mean, literally, we are at the point. We are here, guys. We've talked about it so much that it's hard to believe, but we are finally here. We are now at the doldrums of summer. Close. Like, there's nothing else.
We're not there yet.
We're close, though, because there's
we
nothing else to talk
haven't gotten
about.
through OTAs. We haven't gotten through minicamp.
Are we really going to talk about OTAs? Oh, yeah, that's true. That's fair. I guess it's fair.
Of course.
How many days do you get to see that? Because I was actually looking for that, because you only get 1 day, right?
You get 3 days of OTAs. And then you get to see all of minicamp. Now,
Okay.
we don't get to see rookie minicamp, which is probably... Actually, I do know this. It's not this weekend. It's next weekend.
Okay.
So the rookies will be there, but we don't watch minicamp practice. Likely, we get a locker room session and talk to the players for, I don't know, 45 minutes or so.
Okay. That's not bad.
But you don't get to watch rookie practice. The last time I remember even watching rookie minicamp, I could be wrong, but I'd like to say it was 2006 with the Reggie Bush year, the first year of Sean Payton. After that, you didn't see. Well, I'm okay. Look, I want to see as much as I can possibly see.
Of course.
But when you're at rookie minicamp, you are seeing guys you will never see again, because so many rookie invites, undrafted guys walk in. Some of them get cut for the rookie tryout guys. And it's a story for like the day. But as far as the rest of the stuff, of course we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, we're
talking about top 100
Yeah.
NFL network rankings, we're going to actually talk about helmets, shirts, and shorts. I know Jeff.
Yeah, you know how he's going to be.
Move.
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
Unenamored.
King of the Castle will just run the show.
That's fair.
And I
guarantee we can lasso it. It's fine.
I guarantee you people want to talk about that. Guarantee it.
Absolutely. I mean, because it's the last things that we have before things really do go dormant for a little while.
And then we talk about Wimbledon in July.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, we're also going to have the World Cup. Let's not forget that.
Why am I going to talk about that?
Because the
World Cup isn't even in it.
I know, but that should still not... You still have a reason to talk about the World Cup, because the World Cup still has the best players in the world in it. Okay? So, just because the USA is not in it, doesn't mean that's not going to happen. America.
At least in Wimbledon, you have American players.
Yeah, who get bounced very quickly. Because
not all the time.
Most of the time, though. I mean, when was the last time an American won Wimbledon?
Oh my goodness, it's got to be Sampras.
Yeah, Sampras, I think, has got to be the last one. I mean, when was the last time we had a... I mean,
Andy
was
Roddick got
Roddick
to a
was
final. He got to a final, lost to Federer.
So don't talk to me about that. Don't talk to me about Brits and the Americans and having a tough time, okay?
Don't worry, I won't at you about soccer ever. So
yeah, I know.
Don't you ever worry about that. But
so
anyway,
this NFL list,
anyway,
this is the time
that's what it
for, obviously, the NFL Network, because, I mean, that's going to be next. It's going to be the top 20 games of 2017.
Well, sure.
You know, you're going to see the Saints on there twice. Guess what one of those games is going to be? You're not going to want to watch it again.
No.
But, I mean, that's what we're talking about here. But, I mean, at the same time, though, to be on this list, to be considered one of the top 100 players in the league, that's tough, man. Because you have so many. Obviously, you're going to have new rookies come in.
Do the math. Just do the math. Okay,
There's
53 players on a roster times 32. Not your whole team's not going to be on the list.
Yeah, it's not going to be on the list. And to be on this list, and for the first time, like, because obviously both Michael Thomas and Marshawn Lattimore were not on this list last year. It means obviously that you're getting the respect clearly of your peers, who think that you are one of the top 100 players in the entire league. That's huge, man. I think that's a great honor. Now, granted, guys like to use this as motivational techniques because they all feel like they need to be the best. And I'm totally about that A-dog mentality, man. That's totally fine because everybody has their thing. But you're on the list. Like we make fun of, like making the list, we know where you are on the list.
Making fun of the list.
No, I'm talking about
we're not making fun.
The list.
That's not making fun. That's just talking about the list.
Yeah, I know. I mean the restaurant list.
Any list.
A list. But I mean, clearly, and you're gonna have some other teammates on there. That means that as a team, as an entire team, as an organization, you're being put in a situation to succeed.
Your Pro Bowlers should make the list.
Yeah, they should make the list, and it's hard. And you're on it, and you're gonna have some of your teammates on it. And if anything, use this drive as a motivational technique for your entire season for your team, so that your team can have the best season it can have.
Or it's just a list, and who cares?
That's also true.
How about that? It's just a list.
That's also a really good point.
And you don't know where the votes come from, and who cares? How about that? That's more what it probably is. So don't get into a big huff. Be happy if you're on the list.
If you're not on the list, it's fine.
Don't worry about it. Anyway. All right, let's take a break right here on the show. When we get back, we got some open segments. If you want to get involved in the show, 504-260-1280 is the number. Around 11:30, we'll talk with Will Guillory out in Oakland. Pelicans Game 2 against the Warriors tonight.
9:30.
Western Conference semifinals, 9:30. We better be walking in with energy drinks and coffee tomorrow.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt that that's going to be in tall order. And then also in hour number 2, you're going to hear from Anthony Davis, his chat with the media yesterday, of course, getting back on the court, wanting to play, his thoughts on Steph Curry playing tonight. Hear from that. We'll also dive into the NFC South draft. What did the rest of the division do? We haven't really taken a look at that. And college baseball talk. We're in May. That's when, honestly, I start really diving in. I'm sorry, I'm not a hardcore college baseball fan, even though I try to pay attention as much as I can. But hey, we'll talk about that as well. So come on back. Sports 1280, NOLA.com, the iHeartRadio app. Dunc and Holder.
Take my picture by the pool.
The list. Man, I kind of like the Falcons draft.
Yeah, it's not bad, right? When you look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're saying on here too. Is like, man, like that draft is not terrible.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
Cool. Yep. Hello, McFly. I hear that. My eardrum thanks you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Oh, that's normal. I love you too. I love you, Larry.
Lord.
I love you too.
Introducing Drive Up, the world's fastest target run.
Yeah. The guy didn't even save his friend. Oh my gosh! Oh!
Accident, right.
Set the phone lines 504-260-1280. Let's head over to Gretna. Talk with Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy, thanks for calling Dunc and Holder. What you got, bud? You know the fair weather. Yeah, the folks who they're gonna. Oh, I've loved Steph Curry forever. I don't even know where Golden State even is. Which state is it in exactly? Gotta be from Algiers. I want to ID them. That would be something. If someone ID'd the people with the other fans.
Fair enough. It's true.
Resources and yes.
He does.
Jimmy, hey, appreciate the phone call. Appreciate you listening every day. Yeah, that story is on the Ringer and of course our own Will Guillory is heavily discussed in that story. But yeah, look, and Will is the only full-time media member solely dedicated as far as in one of the major media outlets. He's the only one in the city, and that's changed. That I could tell you just from our own shop. I mean, that has changed.
Yeah.
Part of that, I could tell you for a fact, is interest level. I mean, that's a fact. Interest level drives coverage. We dump a lot of resources into the Saints because the Saints' interest is massive. Pelicans, we always know they're going to be second fiddle in the city, and that's just the way it's going to be. But you get more coverage when the interest level is higher. You're winning games. When you're just middle of the road and kind of floating around, that's that. In the day and age of the media now, a lot of that is what drives the coverage.
But I think that sells. But I think it sells. Well, I think two things about that, because the first thing I think is, I wondered if people in Memphis call and say that they're worried that the Memphis Commercial Appeal is the only newspaper in Memphis covering the Grizzlies. Because, I mean, that's the only major newspaper in...
But they're the only major sport, too.
I mean, maybe they get the Tennessean, but, I mean, they're still covering, everything in Nashville, maybe UT, football, things like that. But I think it also sells the outside blog coverage.
I will say that, well, that's true. But I will say, look, the media landscape has changed.
Yes.
People are supplementing. Like, I don't know if Memphis has a beat writer in Knoxville. They might share coverage.
Right.
Like, that's part of the media landscape. And so, but look, I could just tell you, even on this show, I could tell you, we talk about what people want to listen to. And what drives our conversation plenty of times, and the vast majority of the time, is going to be Saints. And that's just the way it is. Even I could tell you, as far as interest, I'm willing to bet LSU football drives interest above the Pelicans when they're not winning. I could tell you that. All right, let's hit the phone lines. 504-260-1280. Let's head up to Minnesota, talk with our buddy Cordell. What's up, bud? Thanks for calling. We're good,
sir. How are you?
Never, Cordell. I would never bite your head off.
We wouldn't do that.
Cordell, ever.
Yes, you did. Thank you for friending me.
What am I, chopped liver? I'm easy to find, Cordell. I'm easy to find.
I'm more friendly.
I guess so. Don't do it while you're driving. Don't do it while you're driving. You're talking like national or outside of this market. Okay.
That's true.
In history.
In history.
In history. Yes. All right, Cordell, we got to let you run. We're up against it. NFL Network's done its job. It's pissed off Saints fans.
Wonderful. Great show already.
Thanks, Cordell. Appreciate the phone call as always. Hour number 1 is up. Hour number 2 is on the way. Will Guillory at 11:30 talking Pelicans Warriors coming back. Sports 1280 NOLA.com, the iHeartRadio app. Dunc and Holder.
Should have known it was going to be about that. Should have known.
Oh, yeah. NFL Network just did its job.
The NFL says it will not be eliminating kickoff for the 2018 season. Executive VP Troy Vincent made that announcement this morning. Vincent did say the league still hopes to find a way to make adjustments to this most dangerous play of the game to try to make it safer. And another study on CTE and how it relates to football, the Annals of Neurology published a study of 246 brains of deceased former amateur and pro football players. 211 of those brains were found to have CTE. Researchers also found that those who started playing the game before the age of 12 experienced cognitive and emotional symptoms of CTE an average of 13 years earlier than those who started after age 12. In NBA news, Warriors guard Steph Curry is considered probable to play in tonight's game 2 against the Pelicans. Dunc showtime Curry singer Dunc this season.
It's weird having people up here now.
I know.
It's so weird when you walk by and you're like, shit, there are other people in here
There are
now.
humans.
Holy crap. There are desks here. What the fuck? Thanks, Mark.
Oh, with the
Yeah, moving to MT. I'm not getting away from MT. That's something to look forward to. It's like, yeah.
I mean, yeah, Haley, I can make a meeting on May 9th from 11 to noon.
About what?
Brainstorming session on a newsletter I'm going to be writing, apparently.
Oh, oh, God. We're writing another newsletter. Good Lord.
It's going to replace, I guess, the Saints one. I don't know. I'm basically turning First and 10 into a newsletter.
Oh, Lord Jesus. Which means it has to be done by Sundays or whatever, because that's always the thing.
All right. Got it. Probably bent about the Saints get disrespected.
Yeah, good lord.
Even my mom's texting me. We do get disrespected.
Oh my god.
Oh Lord. Cool. Duncan Holder, hour number 2 on a Tuesday, May 1st. Larry Holder, Clyde Verdun, and Dave DeCorbier here at iHeart Radio Central. Jeff Duncan is on what we quote-unquote call an assignment
Yeah.
at the Kentucky Derby. The draw came out today to post positions of local interest. Lone Sailor is the number 8 spot. Justify is the favorite at number 7. Lone Sailor, initial betting odds 50-1. So quite the long shot so far. Jeff can find time as he's, I know, chasing down some interviews while he's up there. He may jump on the show. If not, we will certainly have him on every day the rest of the week leading up to the Kentucky Derby. And yeah, should be some interesting stuff. Don't forget, 11:30, we're going to talk with our own Will Guillory of NOLA.com and the Times-Picayune. Covers the Pelicans. He's up in Oakland, Game 2 of the Western Conference semifinals. Pelicans taking on the Golden State Warriors, 9:30 tip. Of course, you can listen to that game on our sister station, 99.5 FM WRNO. And we got a couple of open segments for some phone calls. So 504-260-1280. Anthony Davis will hear his chat with the media after shoot-around yesterday. We'll play that later on in the show. Also talking NFC South Draft, college baseball. We'll try to smash it all in to hour number 2. But let's hit the phone lines to start off hour number 2. Let's head over to Metri. Talk with Bart. Hey, Bart. Thanks for calling Duncan Holder. What's up, Bart?
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy from Gretna, yeah, about the Pelicans and the... Yes. You got one full-time writer, Will Guillory. Will Guillory is the one full-time writer, so we got one. At least he's ours. At least he's ours.
We can claim him.
Yes. Yeah. And the article's at The Ringer, just a heads up. If you go to theringer.com, that's where it is. But go ahead. All right, Bart, appreciate the phone call. I'm curious to see how the crowd comes in on Friday. I'm curious to see, because we're making assumptions right now, and here's the thing, the assumptions are coming from past experiences, which is why I totally understand why a fan would anticipate something like that to come into the Smoothie King Center on Friday and Sunday, games 3 and 4. But maybe that changes. I'm not going to predict it's going to change, but maybe that changes. I'm not sure. I'm curious just to see. And Clyde, you've seen it working within the NBA and working for this organization pre-Pelicans. You were a part of the Hornets crew.
Fun time.
And you've seen it firsthand, where especially if the team's bad, especially even when the team's good, say in the heyday when Chris Paul and David West and they're playing well and going to the playoffs on a semi-regular basis.
Yeah,
you've seen the front runner fan come in. Now it's one thing if Michael Jordan fan comes in.
Yeah.
But you see a lot of Kobe fan come in. Look, Kobe was one of, if not arguably the best player in the world. But, I mean, Steph Curry, okay. I mean, he's Kevin Durant, okay.
LeBron.
I mean, LeBron I get too, but it's pick your fan. Look, I even remember seeing it when they played OKC, and there were random Melo fan or random Westbrook fan, and they're just like, what? Give me a break.
Okay, here's the thing, because I'm not going to get into the fan side, because the last time I tried to talk about fans, I got shot down because
by who?
By both you and Jeff. Last time I was talking about
likely.
fans.
So,
all
right, well, let's see if we
can
can shoot you down again.
I'm not going there. I'm not doing it again. So I learned my lessons. I'm not saying anything. I'm not doing anything. The one thing that we have to
no, Clyde, I welcome your fan hot take.
Yes, absolutely. I think the thing about the NBA is that it's a unlike the NFL, the NBA is driven by individual stars. It is driven by individual stardom. So it is a lot easier to be a fan of a player.
Because an individual player can take over
Because they can take over a game. It's 5 on 5. It's 10 players on the court. They can have a much more dramatic impact than a lot of the players can have in a lot of other sports. So I think it's unfair to paint all fans with a broad brush to say that, oh man, there's so many Oklahoma City fans when they come in. First of all, there could be people from Oklahoma City who live in New Orleans. Possibility. Just one possibility. Could be guys, could be girls. They're fans of just Russell Westbrook, Paul George, Carmelo Anthony. Could be a possibility. Could also a possibility that they're just front runners. It is what it is, man. But that's what the NBA is. The NBA is a game that has tied its global status to individual stardom and individual power. So if we want to paint all visiting fans who help pack the arena, okay, that's fine. But they're helping pack the arena. And my thing is, specifically for how we talk about the Pelicans in this town, I think for me, and it's going to be different for me, it's always going to be different for me, I realize that, and I'm not going to say that for me, if I love the NBA, I've always loved the NBA. I've loved the NBA before I loved the NFL. That's me. When professional basketball, I know I'm not alone, but for me, when professional basketball came to New Orleans, that was my jam. I was so excited because I knew that from now on, we were going to have a professional team so I could see either Michael Jordan, who I did see.
Who did you grow up following?
I grew up following the Houston Rockets.
Who was your favorite player?
Hakeem Olajuwon.
So
the dream.
So you were obviously not a Hornets/Pelicans fan from the get-go.
No, this was when I was a kid.
Right. So you were not. You were not a fan of.
But the Hornets.
They were not here.
They weren't here yet.
I understand that.
But
a lot of people say, well, let's take you for example. A lot of people had to kind of attach themselves to a team that didn't originate from here, and they were the Charlotte Hornets, and so they come here and they're not indigenous, let's say, of New Orleans. So
there are a lot of teams that aren't. No one's saying that about the Lakers. The Lakers were in Minneapolis. No one say that about the Clippers.
Yes,
Same
but
thing.
how long has the Lakers been in Los Angeles?
If they weren't in LA and if they hadn't bought as many championships with the best players available in the history of the NBA.
LA's different. LA, you could go in there and they don't even know that the NFL team's playing. They have no idea that their Chargers are there. And
That's a good
and
point
the
too.
NFL's
That's
the
because the Chargers are terrible.
So LA market's different. LA market's different. I'm just saying that people, and you're saying, like, you're an NBA fan, and you are a Olajuwon fan,
Yeah.
Rockets fan. You had to basically switch your allegiance. Did you totally switch your allegiance, or
100%.
100%.
100%.
So you lit your Akeem Olajuwon jersey on fire.
No, actually,
you did that. You were a gasoline
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
You got on the news, and you're like 8-year-old Clyde. I hate you, Akeem Olajuwon. I know I love Dan Dickow. You're the greatest thing
Dan
ever.
Dickow.
And you lit your jersey on
Of all the
fire.
people you could get Dan Dickow.
Alvin Campbell, big homie, I love you better than Akeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler. And you lit it on fire. Is that what you did?
No, in fact, I have my Hakeem Olajuwon Houston Rockets jersey still in my house, and I also have a Clyde Drexler shirt, who actually held me as a baby. Long story, but he actually held me as a baby.
What?
Really cool.
Held you as a baby?
Yeah. At a wedding in Texas when I was a child. It was amazing. And then I also have a Scottie Pippen USA jersey, so it's great. But I don't see what that has to do with the fact that, like, there was not professional basketball in New Orleans, in the state of Louisiana, for me growing up. I had an aunt who lived in Houston. My first basketball game was in Houston. Of course I was going to be a Rockets fan. This was during the Clutch City days. This was during the back-to-back championships. So, of course, if I love basketball and have a team that's close to me, which I'm all about regional proximity. That's my thing. Like, I'm not going to be a fan of the Knicks unless unless I loved, Patrick Ewing and all those guys, or the 76ers or the Bucks. Like, it was always going to be a team that was close to me, that had some kind of tie to something that I cared about. And when the Hornets came to town in 2001, for me, professional basketball was in my area. That was going to be my team.
Okay, so here, let me try to summarize what you're saying, or let me get where you're going.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's bridge this gap.
You are a basketball fan, and as soon as a New Orleans team came, you switched your allegiance and were all in on the New Orleans team.
Absolutely. Because why am I not going to give why would I not give my allegiance or my preference to a team that is that from at that point in time was 70 miles away from me?
So, but what you're saying is it's not everyone else. It's okay for not everyone else to do that. Is that what you're saying? So basically, you're all in, but you're still encouraging Joe Sunday to put on his Draymond Green jersey and come on in here.
If you're a Draymond Green fan, absolutely. If you are an NBA fan,
I'm just
absolutely.
trying to make sure where you're coming from.
Absolutely. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with, if you are an NBA fan and you are tied to a team that isn't necessarily in this town, I get it. I understand why. And again, like I said, you could be from Oakland, you could be from the Bay Area, you could be from California, you could be a transplant, whatever it may be. If you're an NBA fan, I understand. But for me and people who I think are in this town, who love the NBA, who love basketball, I think they're being unfairly painted with a brush that screams just, you're not a fan if you're not rooting for the Pelicans. You're not a fan if you're not all in. And I'm not saying that you should not be all in. I'm telling you about my personal preference and my personal experiences. If you are at least in the building, I respect that, because it is a challenge. It is a labor of love, because the Saints are what they are and what they have been in the city for over 50 years. For me, specifically, I think if you are a fan of the game, if you're a fan of the Pelicans, if you're a fan of the NBA as a whole, do what you do.
I'm going to tell you reality as we go to break right here. And boy, the Graf's listening. He's ready. He's fired up to talk to you about the fandom. Let's do it.
Okay, great. I mean, like I said, I'm gonna deviate away from whatever he wants to talk about later on.
I'm coming in without a plan tomorrow.
Oh, that's gonna be so great.
No, as we go to break right here on the show, we'll hear from Anthony Davis coming up next. But if you want to convert said fan, sorry, you got to win. You got to put a consistent product on the floor. That's
I'm
number
100%
one.
with that too.
That's number one. I'm not going to dump money and be blind loyal to a team that's mediocre or stinks.
I didn't say that.
I'm just not going to do that.
I didn't say any of that.
Especially if you're new to town. No, I'm not saying you. I'm just saying general public. And me personally, if I'm kind of not in the fan fray, as people know, and people don't understand how, but they got to be good on a consistent level because they're always going to be the second fiddle in town. People are going to put their money in the Saints because they're more loyal to them. That's what it is. So, all right, let's take a break right here on the show. Let's hear from Anthony Davis heading into tonight's Pelicans Warriors game. In about 10 minutes, 12 minutes, we'll talk with Will Guillory out in Oakland. Come on back. Sports 1280, NOLA.com, the iHeartRadio app. Dunc and Older. Woo! Spicy Clyde.
Spicy.
I want to light my jersey on fire.
Usually I reserve that voice for
Yeah, I'm gonna say
Catherine
that's.
Carroll.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that sounds like. Now I'm gonna tell Catherine. Catherine, I've heard what Larry's voice for you is like, and I'm not sure he should be going around doing this.
I hate you, Kim.
I hate you. Dan, of all the players, Dan Dickow, really?
I love you, Jimmy Fredette.
I mean, you could at least give me Luke Babbitt.
No, because Luke Babbitt actually played on a team that might have been like halfway okay.
That's what I'm saying.
No, Dan Dick
At least give me that guy.
No, I gotta give
Jeez.
you the 20 and 62 team.
Sweet Jesus. That's unfair.
Hey, that guy's the cutest.
That is unfair.
No, because if you want people to be fans of the Pelicans or the Hornets and they're 20 and 62 with no hope, why would I go to the games? I'd come out in my frickin' George Gervin jersey.
Yeah, but do you see how much harder it is for how hard it is for the NBA because there are so many games as opposed to saying if you're only playing 8 home games a year from September to January, yeah, I'm gonna still plug my team. I'm gonna still plug my money into a team that is 2-10 going into the last. I mean, it's so much easier to do that. It's always got to be some pre-qualification with basketball saying, "Oh, if you're a terrible team, well, I can't put my money
No,
down
you
to
gotta
41
be
home
good.
games."
You gotta
But like
be good.
we can plump down for 2 preseason games, 8 home games, and hopefully a playoff run.
No, you gotta be good.
Are the Browns good? Are people still showing up to Browns games?
They don't have people show up to the Cavs games.
But I know because that would almost be like the antithesis. Like that would almost be like the complete opposite of
Yeah.
here. It's like the Browns are so terrible and Cleveland and the Cavs
the
have been
NFL
so
drives
good.
the ship. It's just
Yeah,
what it is.
it
Except
is.
in LA.
Except in LA,
That's
which is
why I
still
was
so
like,
strange.
You can't do LA. The Lakers have been there much longer than the football teams have been.
Yeah,
And they've
yeah.
left
I'm about to say
and
they've
gone,
been,
left
yeah,
and gone.
yeah,
That's why they get
and they built them a new
I mean, the
arena.
Dodgers they didn't start there. They started in
Brooklyn.
But they've been there for umpteen million years.
You know, LA is almost like the test case of like, not necessarily sports fandom, but like it's interesting because you're seeing that, and then this past weekend they just opened a new soccer only specific stadium for LAFC. 22,000, cost about 350 million. It was packed, but it's like even Alexi Lawless was like, he used the analogy of like using jewelry. Like it's almost as if, okay, you've got a really nice Tiffany box, but you got a cubic zirconia, i.e. like the play on the field. Like if you're going to give them a Tiffany box, you got to give them Tiffany jewelry, which means that this team has to be good, and they have to be good for a long time for them to be able to cement the reason of building a $350 million soccer stadium in the middle of California next to the Rose Bowl.
No way we're getting to the rest of this. All the stuff I had. Yeah. College baseball and the rest of the division's not going anywhere.
We got Will.
I'm assuming Anthony Davis and the Pelicans are less shell-shocked a few days removed from their 123-101 loss in Game 1. He spoke with the media yesterday, about 3.5 minutes, just kind of a Q&A, just his thoughts on some varying topics. One, of course, is the return of Steph Curry to the lineup tonight, as he will return after how many weeks he's been out? 6? A few weeks? 6 weeks?
He's been out since March 23rd, 25th, so he's been about
6 weeks,
6
5
weeks.
or 6
Yeah.
weeks with the knee injury,
Yeah.
but he will be returning tonight. Let's hear from Anthony Davis again, about 3.5 minutes Q&A with some reporters. Of course, our own Will Guillory's up there, and he will join us in about 8 minutes. But let's hear from Anthony Davis chatting with the media leading up to tonight's Warriors-Pelicans game. That's what I was thinking. Jeez.
Yeah.
No bouncing basketballs in a basketball gym. That's the best kind
Y'all
ever.
both sound retarded. Y'all sound really stupid.
Exactly.
Let me light my Peja head on fire. I'm done.
Peja. This is my dude, man.
What stood out to me was just one key phrase I think Anthony Davis said, and it was at the beginning of that, and it was about just playing random basketball. And obviously that's not what you want to play, but
No.
the problem is Golden State, when they get rolling and they're running and hitting shots and you can't defend, they'll put you in random basketball. So basically, you got to run and gun with them. If that's going to be the Pelicans style, which I think by now we know that is,
Yeah.
you've got to be able to go punch for punch, or they're going to put you in random basketball. And if you turn the, I think Anthony Davis is right. They started turning the ball over left
Yeah.
and right, and that was their death knell in game one.
Yeah, you can't turn over the ball against this team. Turnovers lead to fast break points, easy layups, setups for three-pointers. Either way, it's good for the Warriors. It's bad for the Pelicans. But, I mean, I think Anthony Davis and I think the Pelicans are fully aware of the team that they're going up against, and they ran into a buzzsaw. I mean, obviously they were riding high. They had won nine consecutive games, had a week off, and they go to Golden State looking to make a challenge, looking to make a run. They absolutely did that in the first quarter, and then the Warriors woke up. They showed up, and from that point on, there was nothing that the Pelicans could do to try to get back into that game. They had turnovers at costly times. They weren't able to hit big shots to really just either stop Warrior rallies or to get a rally started of their own. And I think that's where game two is going to be a big difference. I think once it's I think it's like you said yesterday. I think it's it's like that boxer mentality. It's not about taking a punch. It's how you take that punch and how you throw it back. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing about Game 2 is that if the Pelicans can come out and really go tit for tat with the Warriors again, but then be able to extend it, I think this will be a much different game than Game 1. But I think it's all going to start with number one, taking care of the ball, not having costly turnovers, and then having just somebody. I don't care who it is, whether it's Mirotic, whether it's Rondo, whether it's Drew. Someone's going to have to start hitting big shots, because the biggest thing that clearly the Warriors are going to do is that they're going to take Anthony Davis and make him a very great one-dimensional player, and then they're going to pretty much turn the rest of the Pelicans into, well, which one of you are going to try to step up and beat us?
And in the first series, you saw Drew Holiday do that on a regular basis. And Game 1, he's playing a little stiffer competition. So, and with Curry coming back, curious to see how that pans. All right, let's head up to Oakland. Let's take a break right here on the show. We're going to head up to Oakland, talk with one of the voices you heard in that Q&A, Will Guillory, NOLA.com, and the Times-Picayune. Let's do it. Sports 1280, NOLA.com, the iHeartRadio app. Duck and Holder. Yep. Sweet. Let's head over to Oakland, California. Will Guillory, NOLA.com, the Times Picayune, covers the Pelicans and has been out there for many a day. And now we got game 2 coming up tonight, 9:30 tip. Of course, you can follow all of his coverage at NOLA.com or on Twitter at Will Guillory. And you can listen to the game right here on our sister station, 99.5 FM WRNO. Will, we just played the Q&A from Anthony Davis in the previous segment, and it's not like Anthony Davis ever gets overly emotional about anything, but I'm assuming the team, one loss is not going to have them go in the complete tank, even though it was a pretty convincing loss in game 1. What's the mentality been like for this team from the guys you've talked to over the last couple of days heading into tonight's game 2? Well, they had to prepare for one team in game 1. Steph Curry certainly brings a different element to this game in game 2, brings an element on defense and on offense for each side of the ball. How different is this going to be for this Pelicans team with Curry coming back tonight?
Well, one of the things that we brought up, or at least that I brought up, when we were talking in the first hour was it seemed like, we talked about how the Pelicans and how NBA teams going to the playoffs are looking to trim down their roster, really kind of use the guys that they know are their best chances to win. But for me, we saw a lot of this late. Would it kind of behoove the Pelicans maybe to try to switch some things up? By chance, maybe you throw a Mecca Okafor out there for maybe a couple minutes. Maybe you give Crawford a few more minutes in some key moments, maybe in the second quarter, maybe in the third. Because if you're just going to rely on, Darius Miller and Ian Clark and Solo Hill and guys like that, with the matchups that the Warriors present and the nightmares that they are, would it kind of be time to maybe throw a couple different things at it just to kind of see what you can get and give maybe some of the starters just a tiny bit of a break just to see what can happen? Absolutely. Right. If you haven't found a definition of insanity, that's clearly what it is. But you also brought up the player that I think, your story was so interesting after the loss. Because, for as much as we talk about Kevin Durant, talk about Steph Curry coming back, we talk about Klay Thompson, the highlight of that entire game was Draymond Green's triple-double. Clearly, when he is playing that way and when he is providing that type of positive play for the Warriors, it's hard for any team in the NBA to stop that. What do the Pelicans have to do to try to limit him and limit his influence on the game, as far as not trying to get in his head and start a complete riot?
Will Guillory, NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune, covering the Pelicans out in Oakland. He will be there tonight. Maybe he'll be back for Game 5 if the Pelicans can keep this series going. Key game tonight, obviously, Game 2. Will be covering it all for us at NOLA.com and the Times-Picayune. Will, appreciate all the great insight as always, my friend.
Working.
Jeff's out. Here's what Jeff's doing. Jeff is probably wearing jeans, shirtless on a horse, posing for the cover of a romance novel. He thinks he's Fabio. That's what I think is going on right now.
He's gonna need a great wig.
His hair is waving. Yeah, maybe he's wearing a wig. You never know. Maybe. I'm not sure. I know. We have just painted a disturbing picture, and that's what we love to do. Thanks, Will. Party on. All right, Will Guillory, the only full-time Pelicans beat writer covering the team for a major media outlet here in New Orleans.
On the loneliest beat in the NBA.
Well, he's got some company, I guess.
Yeah,
a little bit.
That's a little bit.
Yeah. Hell, we're going to keep you company for one more segment.
At
Good
least.
times. Well, better not be at least.
That's a good point.
That's something that happened to Eric Asher, which I don't think that's the case. All right, one more segment here on a Tuesday. Come on back. Sports 1280, NOLA.com, and the iHeartRadio app. Dunc and Holder.
So our boy Richard tweeted at the handle, Verdon's reply to my call was idiotic. I understand if you're originally from Oakland or any of these other cities, but that's not really the case here. This team has been for 16 years. This shouldn't be happening.
So people hate you?
No, I wouldn't say that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
me
I'm,
too.
I'm on Larry Holder hatred status.
Hater! Hell, I don't give a shit who shows up.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a bunch of mannequins. As long as they put out the money, then that's good for the city.
Yeah, it's good for the city. It is.
Oh yeah, I think I need help from you when the show's over,
Okay.
because for some reason, like my Slack app is like gone.
What do you mean?
Like I had to update my keychain or something,
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
and it like disappeared.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Okay. We'll figure out out
Right.
what that is.
Like yeah. It sends me to the app store. I'm like, I already downloaded it. Like I have it on my computer. Why? What is going on? I don't. But it's almost like it doesn't acknowledge that I have it on the computer. I don't know. Great show, fun show. If you missed any of it, sports1280.com. You can go to NOLA.com's YouTube page. We have an episode every day, and Clyde will be doing a show recap post. Clyde, what are we focusing on today?
Oh, we're gonna do Will's post. We're gonna do with Will, and kind of just, if anybody missed it, just really getting the vibe of the arena, what's going on with the Pelicans. He's been at practices the last few days. Obviously, he was there for game 1. So, I mean, we're just going to preview tonight's game. I mean, it's late, 9:30, so we're just going to try to, keep it going. Because, I mean, obviously, 2 weeks ago, we did a whole week of nothing but Pelicans posts, which was awesome. So, I mean, that was kind of fun. So, kind of tying it back into this whole, loneliest being the NBA. I think that, we're not taking a chance here. And that's what I think is the beautiful thing about the show, is that, we talk about the topics that matter to what we hope our fans want to listen to, but we talk about a lot of stuff. We didn't get to college baseball today, but we can get to college baseball tomorrow.
We're definitely going to get to it tomorrow when Todd Graffinini's coming in. We're going to talk definitely some college baseball, because it's May and it's crunch time. Only a couple series left for the Green Wave, for LSU, and we'll be diving into that. Look, Tulane plays Southern Miss tonight, an important midweek game for the Green Wave. No
Huge
doubt
RPI,
about that.
could be a huge RPI boost if they can pull off the win.
Absolutely. So Todd Graffinini will be jumping in the seat, and we'll have a good time tomorrow. So you're not going to do the post on how you turned on Akeem Olajuwon for Dan Dickau.
I don't think I need to do that one.
Why?
Because I don't think
that would get Clips Mania.
I don't. I doubt it.
Lighting Olajuwon's jersey on fire while you're wearing Dan Dickau's
So
jersey.
again, something that I've never done and have never thought to do.
I clearly documented. I had the live footage that we played like a half hour ago.
Don't think you had that. I'd say the only thing that you
maybe it was an unsolved mysteries. No, it was an
not even that.
No, it was an unsolved mysteries portrayal.
Oh,
of you
it was a
doing
reenactment.
Right, a reenactment.
Got it.
Yes.
Yeah, if I can only drive back to Morgan City and get back here in enough time to like bring both jerseys that are clearly not burned, just to spite you.
Don't make me do a Jeff
Just
Joe
to do it.
drive back. Come on.
Yeah. I got your oyster road for you. I got your seashell road for you. I got your P-Rod for you. You pipe down in there, Peanut Gallery.
Poor Clyde's getting attacked left and right.
Sick of y'all.
Usually we just let Jeff do the attacking.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, obviously he's not here the rest of the week, so I'm going to have to deal with it. But I can't wait for tomorrow with the grab because it's going to be just 2 hours of absolute
We're gonna have fun.
steering and veering. It's going to be awesome.
We're going to have fun. Also tomorrow, Josh Katzenstein covers the Saints. We'll get his take on the draft and kind of moving forward, what the roster looks like. So we will talk with him about that. We'll certainly have reaction after tonight's Pelicans Warriors game, and that should be fun as well. So look,
Talked about a lot of stuff. That's what we do.
Absolutely. So tonight, I'm not feeling great about the Pelicans' chances.
It's understandable.
Maybe if Steph Curry wasn't coming back and they could kind of prepare for the same lineup, but I mentioned it at the top of the show in the 10 o'clock hour. It's basically you're preparing for a second team with one of the best players on planet Earth returning.
Yeah.
And Will Guillory did put out a stat earlier in the show. Since the 2014-15 season, the Warriors are 25-5 in home playoff games when Steph Curry is in the lineup. And I retweeted and added my own message. Quote Lloyd Christmas here, basically. So you're telling me there's a chance?
Absolutely. 100%.
I don't know how much of a chance there is. I if they turn the ball over and they play sloppy, I'm sorry. The Pelicans have to play picture perfect to beat the Warriors in one game, much less a series. And we saw them play pretty damn picture perfect when they beat them late in the season, and that was without Steph Curry, and that was without, I feel like, the Warriors with the foot on the accelerator because they were just coasting into the playoffs because they could afford to. They were the number 2 seed. They knew where they were going. No one was catching them, and now they're getting better and they're getting healthier.
I think 2 differences from this game, from game 1 to game 2, will be obviously the disparity in free throws and fouls will be much different. I don't care if you're a casual NBA fan or you've been following the league for years. Anybody watching that game could tell that there was a huge disparity in foul calls and free throws. We were talking about the Warriors shooting upwards of 14 free throws in a quarter. That's absurd. And
well, let me ask you this: Do you think the calls were coming, and I'm not going to say, oh, blame the refs.
Yes, no.
I think the calls were coming because the Pelicans simply couldn't keep up on defense.
Yeah,
and you're reaching and you're doing things, and that's part of it.
That is part of it, but there were a few moments where there were foul calls on one end that were the same on the other end that were not being called. And again, this is not a conspiracy theory. Sometimes the game happens this way. It's the nature of the beast. And whatever sport you play, sometimes that happens. But I guarantee that the disparity in free throws and fouls in this game will not be as one-sided as it was in game 1. And then second of all, I think I would expect to see a much more aggressive Jrue Holiday tonight. I think for him, he has got something to prove tonight. I think he's going to come out with a much different mentality of being able to attack the Golden State.
Well, they need him to be.
Yeah, they need
him to be awesome like he was in that series. And that's a tall order, though, against the Warriors.
And I mean, if we're going to expect Anthony Davis to have to come out and play like an MVP, all-world, all-universe type player, and he's got to score 40, that's going to be too much. You got to have some help. He's got to have some help. He's got to have somebody come into the game also with that mentality of attacking the Warriors, attacking that perimeter defense. And another thing that I know it sounds crazy because we talked about this with the Pelicans and Warriors, how they like to play up tempo. I think in some instances, holding the ball and using the full length of the clock and maybe limiting some of the possessions for the Warriors could be a key asset because the less chances they have, specifically on transition, or to have more time to run up and down the court, could be a benefit in the long run for the Pelicans in the later quarters.
Look, in theory, that sounds great, but that's
In
not the way
theory,
they play.
it's in theory.
They lost one game. I don't
It's
think
one
they're going
game.
to change totally. But I also think
You gotta do something different.
Look how hot Niko Mirotic was in the first series. They have better players to defend Niko Mirotic. I
Absolutely.
think that's a part of it
And
too.
that hurts.
And you used him to the fullest, and he played awesome against Portland. This is a different animal. You got better defenders who could defend and get in the face and not give open looks to Mirotic, and I think that's part of it too. Somehow he's got to find open looks, and when he gets them, you got to hit him.
Yeah.
It can't be the Mirotic with the beard. It's got to be the guy who we saw for the last, say, 10 games who was the world was on fire because he was playing lights out.
And we need the bench to come through in the clutch and key moments. The bench has got to produce. I don't care who it is.
Ian Clark,
Darius Miller,
you
Chet
need
Diallo.
somebody to do something.
Somebody has
I
got
would
to come
agree.
off the bench and do anything in this game to make this a series and come back 1-1. I agree with you. I'm a little uneasy. I think it comes back 0-2, but I still think that this series could go 6 games. I do. I believe it can go 6 games at least.
I could say that too, even if they lose tomorrow night. But I mean, if you're a Pelicans fan, I know it could be Lanyap, but you're hoping for a series win. I mean, you don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
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 Hey, we'll see. Great show today. Todd Graffinini is going to join us tomorrow. Eric Asher is coming up next. Amos Morales filling in, our buddy, for Chris Gordy from 2 to
Amazing.
4.
I'm going to turn into that.
Corey Johnson from 4
Can I
to
call
6.
in?
Of course you can. Absolutely. He'll say, that Clyde, he's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. I would hope so.
He's pretty good. So, all right, we'll come back tomorrow for a Wednesday edition. All kinds of Pelicans talk tomorrow. And, of course, we'll talk with our own Josh Katzenstein tomorrow. Jeff Duncan will be calling in from Louisville, Kentucky, as he's at the Kentucky Derby. So we'll have a great show lined up tomorrow. And, as always. So, come on back for a Wednesday. Eric Asher coming up next here. Sports1280NOLA.com, the iHeartRadio app. Duck and Holder.